All right, we are back here. Dynasty about to take on Edmonton Impact, and we just watched the game of the tournament so far with Chicago Aftershock taking on Vicious, and it just wasn't enough for Aftershock as Vicious took it 7-6, but one of the best games I've seen in the past 5 years. Next up, Dynasty Impact. I'm Matty Marshall, and up here with me, I got Brian LB Fowl, legendary paintball player. LB, how you doing, bud?
I'm good, buddy. I'm good. It's great to see you, man.
Yeah, good to see you, too.
Thanks for having me.
No problem, man. I'm really glad I got you up here.
It's just kind of a convenience thing. That
I had to like tackle you and handcuff you and kidnap you to get down. You're totally a pleasure to have up here, son. And actually, I was surprised. You're just like, yeah, I'll go up.
Yeah, well, I know. I mean, you guys do a great job, and obviously you're my buddy, and I'm sure my mom is listening or watching as we speak. So
Love your mom.
Hi, Mom.
Love your mom. Love your family, actually.
Thank you, buddy.
And I'm not just saying that because you're here. LB actually has an amazing family. Dad's a doctor, and his mom's amazing, and his wife's awesome, and he's got a new kid too.
Yeah, a little boy, 2 years old. He'll be 2 years old next month.
Yeah, so
already, man.
LB, retired a little bit ago, but had been around the sport as one of the best competitors and played on a lot of good teams, so yeah, I'm glad to have you up here calling the game. Now, right now, we got Impact taking on Dynasty. You know, you played both these teams over the years. Dynasty, obviously, more than Impact. Impact been around now for some years, and they have guys like Ryan Moorhead and Tim Montresor, who played for Philly for long ago. They're on the team. Both these guys stack lineups. Now, Dynasty, phenomenal beginning part of the year. They had undefeated run in the first half of the season. They've struggled a little bit. Now, when I say struggle, I just mean they haven't been winning as much.
Sure.
Because they're still taking seconds, and they're up there. So, and they're flawless over this event. Dynasty has not let the other team score a point yet. So let's see here, about to on this breakout. So breakout here, Dynasty 5 alive off the break, and Impact able to try to get out. Oh, and they lose. Looks like Chad George trying to get out. Oh, I'm sorry, Justin Cornell, as he tries to get out on that Dorito side of the field.
You know, you get to this level, and the small things, I think, are what makes the difference. There's a lot of parallels between, paintball and sports. It really comes down to doing small things well, and I think that's what Dynasty does better than most. Obviously they're loaded full of talent, and that's a big part of their game. Yeah,
and so we see right now on your screen, you're looking at that cross-field spread here, direct drive, center of the field. Now Dynasty making moves on the Dorito side. Now, interesting thing about Dynasty is that they put Alex Frazier on the Dorito side. As they lose, who is that? I think that's Mesa. So Mesa coming off, Mike Mesa coming off for Dynasty. And let's see what Alex Goldman could get done over here on the Snake side of the field. Alex Goldman, a lot of people have been asking, who's my favorite player of the year? I'd have to say that if you don't have Alex Goldman in your conversation as best player of the year, you don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Is he playing well this year?
Yeah, especially beginning part of the year. It's just dominant, man. I mean, he's really, really come into his own. Mouse has been around forever.
Yeah, sure.
Been around for a long time, but he's really kind of starting to realize his role, grow up mentally,
mature,
become a grown man, and to really start to understand what he needs to do when the chips are down and perform in those special situations. So he's been handling business. Now, again, super solid roster from Dynasty. They're deep, but so is Impact. Impact struggled yesterday as they lost to Vicious 7-3. But then they also won too. So, this is a must-win game for them. Now, Dynasty has not let a team score a point against them this event so far.
That's incredible, yeah.
7-0, 7-0. Look at this, Yosh Rao hunting up in the center of the field. Awesome move by Yosh Rao. Yosh Rao, so solid. We talk about consistency, and we've had a lot of conversations about consistency so far as Dynasty continues to just score points and look dominant as Alex Goldman, barely getting shot at over here. And great job by Yosh Rao starting off in the back, able to come through, great timing. But, so LB, talk to me about how important consistency is at this level of play.
Yosh is a great example of that. He's kind of like an unsung hero. He's a guy that's always going to be around. You can always rely on him and count on him. And at this level, you can't make mistakes. If you do, it'll come back to haunt you. And I think that's really the biggest difference between this field we're watching here to maybe the field next to us. It really is, everybody's at the top of their game. You can't have any faults. You really have to grind and put the time in. I mean, paintball's no different than any other sport. If you want to be good at it, you got to practice, and you got to really take the time to figure out what's going to make you better and how to improve as a person. And I think you bring up a great point in terms of Mouse. I mean, I think we know Mouse from way back when, and being a young little teenager, and now the maturity level is much different, and that's great. And he's going to obviously. To echo your point, he's been playing long enough now to where he is one of those dynamic players.
Yeah, he's 21 now, and he won a world title with the Ironman when I think he was 17 years old.
Wow.
So to win so early, I think that sometimes, especially coming out of Southern California and being one of those golden kids,
the Mecca,
yeah, and it's he really was one of those like up and comers who from an early age was very talented and was recognized as that. And I think it kind of ate at his ego a little bit,
sure.
Kind of blew it up a little bit. And I think now as he's kind of matured and he kind of understands again, he's the first guy in the snake. Just do your job,
yep.
And he's been doing a phenomenal job at that. He's a beast over there. It's really hard when you're confronted with a player like Mouse to come up with an answer for that other than to continue to go out. Now, on the flip side, Impact, they have amazingly talented guys. I think it was a very good pickup to go and get the Philly guys, who also had played with Shock when Philly fell apart. But, they got Chad George, they got Justin Cornell, they got the Yakmek brothers. They have Ryan Moorhead, who I think is one of the best real players in the game. And they got a stacked lineup.
Yeah, Ryan's a guy that you don't want to play against on that side.
Yeah, so here we go. And he's over there right now, and that was Impact on your screen. Now you're looking at Dynasty. Let's see if Dynasty can continue it up here. So far, they have 15 unanswered points against their opponents so far at this event. Ryan Greenspan making a move there to back up Stephen Pitts, who's a very quiet, underrated player. Stephen Pitts, one of those guys
out,
who does not talk about himself. He's incredibly intelligent. You could talk to Stephen Pitts about really high-level intellectual stuff, man. I love that kid. He's a great guy. Not kid, he's older too now, but
he was a kid when I first.
He was a kid when we started playing him.
Miami Effect, when the NXL was formed, he was a kid. Him and his brother Steven.
Ryan Moorhead getting shot over there off the Dorito side. Impact that's not going to help their chances. Still solid lineup. They have 4 bodies alive. Good crossfield spread. They got Yakmek here in Snake 1. And he's got a really good lane. And, this is an interesting field. Now every setup is a little different, but this particular one is kind of like it's not like a dominant snake field, but it's like a counterpunch. You need to get penetration on the snake, try to get some of the snake one, and then or go to Dorito one, and then get another player in. Oh, and look at this. They lose Justin Cornell. Again, Cornell struggling over there on that Dorito side of the field for Impact the first couple points.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the snake that's continuous, and if you get in there and you don't have a guy on tape, you can just fly down it and blow everyone to pieces. I think this is a good setup, and it's great to see it at World Cup.
Yeah, I do. I agree with you. But every now and then, I do like to see those ladder snakes where it's just a battle trench fight.
Sure.
Because those are that's a unique experience. Yeah. And I think to play, I feel like you and me have battled each other as bad guys on many times in fields like that.
Fields are football fields
where it's
long.
just you and me, just wilding out just 15 minutes. So here we go, and Dalton Vanderbilt. Now Dalton is now playing the snake side. We're looking at Dalton Vanderbilt for Dynasty. Now Dalton has really made a name for himself in the beginning of the season, coming on a Dynasty this year, coming out of the Entourage camp and Aftermath, but he's been doing work on the Dorito side, and now they have him over here on the snake side. So that's an interesting, I think, structural change for Mike Hinman, who's the coach for Dynasty, and that's something that we've talked a lot about too over the year as it's gone down, but I think it's such a really integral part to their success this year.
Surely. There's not a guy on that roster really that can't play everywhere, and I think that when you can adjust, especially, when, sometimes it just doesn't work out for you on the Dorito side, and, you could be the best Dorito guy in the world, but if it's just not happening over there, it's great to see that, these guys can play everywhere, and again, that's what makes them, who they are.
Yeah. And it was interesting. I talked to Mike Hinman after he's like, me and Mike go way back. And he's from San Diego. I remember he was working at the field working by the field out in Alpine, and he was 15, 16 years old. And, so he comes up to me and he's like, oh, let's look at the replay first. All right, so check us out. Now what you're looking at, that's Impact right there on your screen. And, Dalton again in the snake, switching over, and that's Yakmek. It just takes one cross field. It's tough. Dynasty's playing such a slow, methodical game on this. It's a very technical game. It's not. They're not really playing that smash mouth style ball, which they can play.
Sure.
But again, you got to play to your environment.
Right.
And I think they've been doing a really good job of that. Obviously, so far. Again, now we're looking at 16 unanswered points for them.
That's amazing.
This event. You know, so, and again, you know, you could say yesterday. So they 7-0'd Uprising. They 7-0'd Vicious, but Vicious just beat Aftershock.
Right.
And they also beat Impact. So Vicious is no slouch at this event right now. Now Uprising, coming from the 7-man tournament series, hasn't played great this event, but not too terrible. You know,
it's tough, man. I mean, this is not an easy game.
No, it's not. It's a hard and humbling game. It really is. So here we go, 2-0 with 17 seconds left to go. 15-12 on the clock. I'm Matty Marshall. I'm up here with Brian LB Fowl, formerly of Infamous, formerly of Avalanche, Image, Miami Effect.
Yeah. Fusion.
Yeah. Oh, Fusion. Detroit Revolution.
Yeah, no, I saw there's a team called Revolution out here. I'm like, hey, you stole my team.
Yeah. You owe us some royalties.
Exactly.
So this now, Chad George trying to get over here into Snake 1, and he gets eaten up. And now Alex Goldman, he gets taken out as well, trying to extend to the 50-yard line. Now it's Oliver Lang on the Dorito side for Dynasty. And he kind of got in there a little awkwardly. He was shooting from his hip, but he basically is just trying to get paint down the field, you know? But it did look.
Any way it works, brother.
Hey, whatever you got to do to get the job done. Dynasty really doing their homework again with Mike Himmett. But Mike was like, hey, how do you think about those first 2 games? I was like, oh, you guys played terrible.
Yeah. Well, it's hard, you know. I mean, you mentioned it earlier, but it's you know, they really haven't been tested yet, so they can't tell if. I mean, they are playing very technical and very methodical, but you know, you really find out who you are and what you're made of when things go bad, you know, and how you recover.
Yeah. So here we go. Now it's kind of a slow. Oh, I was just gonna say, and it's Schultz getting shot out for Impact here in Snake 1, and he's giving the quizzical look like, well, where did that ball come from?
Yeah.
You don't like to see that though, because if I get shot, I kind of want to know where I got shot from, so I can fix the problem.
It's kind of your job to understand that and know why that happened.
Yeah. So Oliver Lang now at the 50-yard line for Dynasty, and he's backed up by Alex Frazier right behind him. And it's interesting, you know, Alex, normally one of the best attackers for Dynasty, he's the second guy to go now.
That's what happens when you get old, brother. You just slowly progression. It's a slow progression. You just constantly start in the front, and then the next 5-10 years go by, you're in the back.
Better hope you're a good gunfighter too at that point. And now look at this, Alex Frazier running down Ryan Moorhead, and so they trade out. But Oliver Lang's still alive. So nice move by Alex Frazier, win the war of attrition over there, and Mike Mesa, number 11.
That's it.
And Dynasty just continuing to look flawless, honestly.
Where's Mike Mesa from? Is he from San Diego as well?
He's from
Prodigy
SoCal.
of the mecca of Southern California paintball players?
Yeah, exactly. You know, there's Alex Frazier right there, 28 years old, Northern California coming up. I mean, really, what else can you say about Alex? I mean, he's, again, instant Hall of Famer.
28 years old, gosh.
I know, we're getting old.
Wow.
What are you now?
Like 25, I think.
You look a day over 22, LB.
Right. I'm 32.
Wait, is that a gray hair in your
it might
beard
be.
right
It might
there?
be, Matty.
I mean, I have a lot of them, so I know what they look like.
Yeah, that's always a pleasant surprise when you look at yourself in the mirror and see gray hairs.
Yeah, it's wisdom.
It is.
Wisdom.
It is.
That's what I keep telling myself, at least. All right, let's check out this replay here. So you're looking at Dynasty's breakout. Now, the key to success is a good game plan, solid breakout. So you're looking at 5 bodies up, 5 bodies alive, 4 guns up, even on the run out. They did put 1 gun down to get to that Snake 1, but that's what you got to do when you're running out to the Snake, especially Snake. This is a pretty long drive. Now you're looking at Chad George trying to do the same thing. He actually got shot out of there. And the keys to success, especially for Damage is also playing phenomenal. Right now, I think the 2 best teams out here, based on their performance so far, and again, Dynasty still a little, and Impact fresh here into their games of the afternoon.
Sure.
But I would have to say that realistically, if you're not looking at these games and saying Damage and Dynasty right now are the top teams, then you're really not watching the games.
Damage won out, right? They went 4-0?
Yep.
Yeah.
Damage looks really good, and their key to success is shooting so many guys off the break. And and it's again, I'm going to say it again. That's why you pay Dave Baines.
Yeah,
know. But I can't also forget Mike Carthy. Another thing, an interesting thing about Damage, the depth there is impressive.
Right.
They got Holiday. He's normally on the Dorito side, and he did a lot of work for Strange in the Snake. Now he's playing in the Snake for them. I asked him, hey, Holiday, why are you over here in the Snake? Don't get me wrong, you're playing amazing, but I'm wondering.
Yeah.
He's like, we were at practice, guys weren't getting in there. I was like, let me go in there. I love that. I love hearing that.
That's a great attitude to have, man.
And then took that into the tournament too.
The key to that this game, man, is 5 guys alive on the break. If you can survive the break and even get a G off the break, it typically works in your favor.
So now Dynasty, they got Dalton over here, holding up here on the Snake side of the field, but still 5 alive. Glenn Takamoto trying to get out to that back corner. Scurries in there, squirrels in barely, and
I like Glenn. Glenn's a great player. He really is.
I think that's Mike McCormick over there getting chewed up, trying to make something happen on the Dorito side. And with everyone on Dynasty playing so well, and McCormick's getting shot, they're trying to go up there.
He's getting clipped, man.
Well, the tough thing is that he's a great player, but right now when everyone's playing this good and you have a deep roster, well, you don't want to be getting shot on moves like that, because then you may start getting sacked.
Right.
And the axe is sharp with Mike Hinton. I don't think it gets any sharper.
Well, no, he's pretty level-headed. I mean, he's doing a great job over there, man. I think that they need someone that knows the game. And the good thing about Mike is he played, and he understands it, and he's not afraid to drop the hammer, which is good.
Nah, with that, you got so many Chiefs on Dynasty. I mean, any one of those guys could literally be a captain of another team.
Yep.
And so when you have that situation, you need a really dominant, strong, overbearing personality like Mike.
Certainly.
Because what that means is success.
Yeah.
Because without a guy like that, I mean, who else is going to rein in those guys?
Sure.
So you need a guy like that. You've been on a lot of superstar teams. You've been a leader on one of those teams. So
I think Skinny does a good job of that too.
On Ironman, absolutely. Yeah.
He's not afraid to hurt your feelings.
No, he will be brutally honest with you if
but
need be.
If you're going to be successful at this level, you have to be.
Yeah. So Dalton Vanderbilt continuing to play well on the Snake side right here for Dynasty. As you're looking at him there, right-hand corner of your screen, in the 50-yard line, Snake standing up over that bunker, just dominant body language right now, just marching down the field and taking out the last player for Impact. Impact is just, I mean, they just can't seem to find an answer for the riddle that is the dominance of Dynasty right now.
Gosh, still not a single point against, huh?
No, just completely flawless performance for Dynasty so far. You're talking about, 18 consecutive points scored for them. Wow. And really at no point have they looked like they're going to lose the point, either. So, and Impact, again, stacked roster.
Right.
Amazing talent on that team. World champions. It just goes to speak about the level of complexity that Dynasty brings to paintball.
They really are. I mean, a very well-rounded team, and hopefully Impact can maybe turn something around here and get on the board, man.
I mean, at least for our entertainment purposes alone.
Exactly. No one wants to be that team or that guy.
I mean, I love Dynasty, but come on. But I mean, honestly, I got some great friends on Impact. I love Tim. Tim's an amazing guy. Ryan, great guy. Everyone on that team's awesome.
Tim's a Michigan boy. He's from Michigan, man.
Yeah, he is.
Yep.
There's some good paintballers that have come out of Michigan before.
Yeah, just a few. I actually spoke to Cesar Pizzo. Remember him? A while back.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, he was throwing a reunion game this weekend, and Travis was like, "We can't come. It's World Cup, bro."
Wait, how did he throw a reunion game on World Cup weekend?
Yeah, he didn't look at the calendar. I don't know.
This is the worst weekend of the
hopefully he's going to
season.
get a good turnout, but there will be no one of any stature coming to his reunion game that plays professional paintball.
Detroit Fusion. So, how do you feel about everything right now? I mean, been out of the game for a little bit, not too long, honestly.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on kind of looking at everything? Feel like you just get out there and keep handling it?
Absolutely. We go out there and smash
people.
That's
the answer that I want to hear.
No, I mean, I
hope so. I mean, we got Vegas coming
up.
So.
Exactly. Oh, believe me, I've been stretching and running. No, I mean, I miss the game. I miss from the start of the horn to the end of the game. I miss that part. I miss the competing and I miss the guys. But it's tough, man. When you work in the industry and you live and die by the sword and you play every weekend, and especially I was in Chicago and we practiced in Southern California all the time. So it's tough, man. I mean, especially after I had my my wife and I had my little boy.
Yeah, congrats on that.
Flying out to California every weekend in and out was tough, man. You take a red eye back on a Sunday night and go straight to the office. It was taxing, but I mean, I obviously, I still remain very, very close with all the guys, and financially, Travis and I still do that. It's I miss the game, I do, but we're gonna have some fun in Vegas. I'll tell you that much.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. No, it's got a minute here as a timeout was called, but I think that's a great timeout by Impact, actually. Got a question from PB Nation. What's our favorite format that we've ever played? Because saying that they play an X-Ball format that isn't race 2 and it's got 25-minute halves. Okay. And I remember, when we've played every type of format that exists. Yeah. And I do remember when X-Ball first started and we had those like 15-man rosters, 3 lines.
Oh, gosh.
The guns are shooting 25 balls a second. It's just and an uncapped ramp, and then also some guys figured out ways to shoot 330.
And there was not a winner at the tournament. It was just you played 4 games and that was it. And then it was like a season.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, man, I'm a big fan of 10-man.
Me too. I was gonna say me too.
By far.
Give me 10-man woods ball.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, and I'm in heaven. I just.
Big old fields.
And don't get me wrong, I love this game too.
Sure, of course.
I love this game too. It's very intense, very fast paced.
I like the athleticism that is required to play this game.
I really appreciate that, but I love the mental chess math skill of the 3-dimensional woods ball field against the best players in the world.
Right.
There's something amazing, and the fact you had an army behind you.
Oh yeah.
10 guys.
Absolutely. The games were 30 minutes long.
Yeah.
Just take you 15 minutes to crawl up the tape.
Because I think it's when you remember things that. And you look back on them, it's the story that you remember.
Sure.
And there's so much story there.
A lot of history, man.
Yeah, a lot of history. So
I saw Mike Bruno. Have you seen Bruno run around?
Oh, yeah. 2 tournaments in a row I've seen him. He's actually a partial owner Aftershock now.
Really?
Yeah, I bought into the team.
Wow, okay.
So we'll be seeing Mikey around. And, Mikey's one of the most interesting characters I've ever met.
That's very eloquently put, Matty. Interesting. Very PC.
Well, trying to keep it
classy.
Keep it classy. Stay classy, San Diego. So Dynasty just continuing to look amazing. 5 bodies alive, and Impact has got to get something going here after that timeout. They're losing bodies still now. 3 bodies alive for Impact. They got Chad George and Snake 1, but no one's doing any damage.
Yeah.
No one's doing any damage, and Dynasty's just playing tight. They're really working their lanes. Oliver's just marching up the Dorito side right now. Chad George now has to deal with him, and there's really no chink in their armor right now that I can see.
Yeah, everybody's doing their job. That's important, A
lot of time left in this game, and we've still got 9 minutes and 30 seconds.
Yeah, and if you're Impact, you need to start getting something going, or it's going to be a quick death.
Yeah. Yeah, Chad George, you can see him. He's trying to work here in the Snake, but the problem is he's got so many guns on him from the right angles. Yeah. Look at this. Oliver now starting to hunt. Oh, and he gets shot.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter because, Dynasty is just still, they had, 4 bodies left alive. So, yeah, Oliver did get shot, but at that point there was only 1 guy left alive. And, so Dynasty just, again, 5-0, just looking amazing. 19 consecutive points now that they've scored.
That's unreal.
This is what Dynasty looked like in the beginning of the season. You could kind of see in the beginning of the season a lot, especially teams like Damaged Russians started catching up with them. And putting them down in the finals. Damage was amazing against them in the finals in Jersey, and the Russian Dynasty game in Chicago was one of the most amazingly competitive and dramatic finishes I've ever seen in a paintball game, with Justin Rabikoff just with this insane come from behind point that was
that
playing
was
out of his head.
Instantly a huge story. I read all about it on the internet. Obviously, I'm still very tight with his dad, Steve, and he's a proud papa, man. Justin's definitely playing some great paintball. Didn't play so great against us this morning, but
no, no, he didn't. And honestly, Justin has kind of struggled at least today.
Yeah, he was in the box. It's not a good spot to be in, especially that hurts the Russians. They rely a lot off of his kills, and he's a go-to guy.
Yeah, you know, it's you got.
I did lose $1 to his dad though. We bet on a point, and I did lose that one.
What was the bet?
Who was going to win the point? And the Russians won.
Standard.
But we won the game, so.
Well, that is what matters.
Exactly, right?
That was a great game too, man.
Yeah, it was.
My two favorite games so far of this event. That last game was by the best game by far. But
yeah, you got the chills. You were all excited down there.
Oh, man, I came down. I was pumped, man. And I was like, oh, but did you see that? You're like, no, I've been waiting for you down here.
We're trying to flag you down and get your attention. Yeah. I'm here. I was on time, punctual.
You were, of course. But LB, you know, I can always count on you.
Yeah.
All right, so now on this breakout, see Impact's got to get something going here.
Yeah,
I mean,
again.
Then now they lose Zane Yakmek, or can't who that tell who that was over there on the Dorito side. It's still 4 alive, and here comes Ryan Moorhead trying to get something done on the Dorito side. So still 4 bodies left alive for Impact and Dynasty. 5 up again. 5 bodies alive for Dynasty. Got Ryan Greenspan in that back center. Glenn Takamoto up the gut.
I mean, everybody's doing their job, you know. Everybody's got a lane. Everybody has a responsibility.
Yeah, and look, they're all gunned up right now, you know. I mean, talking it up, gunned up. And with the 5-0 lead, that's really all you got to do.
Sure, yeah. There's very composed. There's no pressure. Although if it was me, I'm like, we're not losing a point. You got Dalton coming into Snake 1. Probably going to give Ryan some trouble over there.
Yeah, so.
Did Dalton play with Vicious for a little while as well, like a year or two ago?
Yeah, he did play for Vicious. Oh, and Dalton getting clipped. So little mental mistake there by Dalton trying to come around. Got
Tim
dinked out.
Filling out.
Ooh, yeah, but then now Impact in a position where they might be able to capitalize on that mental mistake by Dalton. But now
Tim got shot filling out, so that kind of.
And here comes Dynasty. Glenn Takamoto coming down. Dorito side backed up by Ryan Greenspan. Or no, I'm sorry, Mike Mesa coming down Dorito side of the field. Glenn Takamoto in the center.
It's going to get ugly.
And here's Steven Pitts, number 2. No name on his jersey. Glad I know your body language, Steven.
Someone give that guy a name.
Yeah. That's kind of fitting for him, though.
It is.
You know, he's such a quiet killer.
Personality fits it, man. He's a good kid. There's a lot of unique shots out here too. I mean, you know, even I see a lot of guys actually like bouncing shots off of stand-ups and towers, and you always got to be careful of that, man. You just get clipped in a bad way. You know,
I just got word from this from Cade, our stat guy, who runs the scoreboard, that we had obviously Aftershock very disappointed in their loss as Dynasty forcing Impact to concede another point, and now it looked like a major penalty on Ryan Moorhead, I guess, which is unfortunate for Impact. But so in that last match, we've all been heated at the end of a game. So Aftershock loses an incredibly brutal and amazing match, and Chris Sosine, who had played a great game, amazing job, but he was Chris Sosine throws his gun.
Oh, no.
Comes off the loss immediately, and on the field, doesn't go in the pit and throw his gun into his bag like I'm telling everyone to do. If you want to throw your gun,
sure,
walk into the pit and throw your gun. There's probably not a ref in there.
Lasoya was notorious for that. You always had to have goggles on in the pit at all times with him in there.
But, yeah, so, Chris loses his head, throws his gun on the field. So now, and the thing is that, wait, hold on, we got a replay. So, you're looking at Dynasty, and that's Dalton Vanderbilt right there on your screen. And again, just so solid, all guns up, and there's Dalton, and he's just leaning out right here, gets a little sloppy, which happens sometimes when you're just dominating.
Yeah.
So he gets sloppy and he gets tinked out in his loader. But anyway, so like I was saying, Chris Sosine, this is an important point because Aftershock played a great game, and they only have 7 guys. One guy loses his head, throws his gun, he's going to be suspended for the next match.
Sure.
A ref saw it. Of course, again, safety's a big issue out here. These tanks can kill somebody.
Yeah.
And so Chris is going to be sitting for the next match, which is that hurts Aftershock because he was getting a ton of spins. And, again, it's just really sad to see somebody lose their composure like that and hurt their team, especially they only have 7 guys.
Yeah.
So now they're going to play with 6 for this next match. So
that's going to be rough.
Yeah, it's going to be rough. So score 6-0 as Dynasty just continuing absolute dominance out here at the World Cup so far. and they will play Chicago Aftershock. So now Shock has to go and play Dynasty
with 6 guys.
With 6 guys. And Sosin played great too, you know, so it's very frustrating. So now Moorhead serving that major penalty, or sorry, minor penalty that he got, even though we saw a red flag. It wasn't a red flag, but it looks like a minor penalty.
Yeah.
Oh, and just Yakmek getting shot out of that back corner. It's just they don't have an answer.
Yeah, no, I mean, they just lost Alex.
And now Alex Goldman, Mouse, into 50-yard line Snake for Dynasty. And it's just Schultz over here on the Snake side for Impact, and doesn't, again, he's, you know, really just doing damage control, not in an offensive position. And, you know, Dynasty's got Mike Mesa directly behind Alex Goldman and in a really good support position, rolling his gun right now. And Alex is just biding his time.
I've seen 2 Dynasty guys get bounced in the head. That could be a problem for Impact.
Yeah, that could. Now Ryan Martin, Moorhead coming out of the dead box. And it's going to have to get out of that back center because it's not a lot of places to hide back there. And now look at this. Alex Goldman finally chewing up Justin Cornell, who's trying to get something going on that Dorito side. You know, that's another interesting thing. Like, Justin Cornell in the past 5 years has been one of the best Snake players in the game.
And
so it's interesting to see him on the Dorito side. But we're seeing a lot of this flip-flop. These guys can play everywhere, and it definitely, you don't want to get necessarily pigeonholed. But again, it's like if you're, I remember having this conversation with Brian Short, who's now definitely progressed and has some younger players to fill that spot. But remember, he was like, I don't want to get pigeonholed as a Snake player. I'm like, bro, you're one of the best Snake players in the game. That's like one of the best shortstops. I'm like, I'm kind of getting tired of playing shortstops. Like, if you can put me in left field, that'd be pretty sweet. He's stoked to play left field. It's like, no, you're not going to play left field. You're going to play shortstop. We need you there.
That's like Rusty on my team, man. You know, Rusty used to be an incredible little Snake guy. I mean, I guess, too, he was young and full of energy, and now he's just old business owner. he's on the Dorito side with John, the other old guy.
So, John, do you think John's retiring for sure?
You know, he says he is.
He says this every year.
Yeah, he's definitely, you know, said it in the past, but I think he's pretty serious now, you know. He's playing good still to this day, but, you know, I think no one wants to leave when, or be asked to leave, you know. So he's probably going to hang him up.
That's sad to hear.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it is. I mean, it's just
because he played great
so
this year.
long. Yeah, no, he's been playing very well, very well.
And Alex Goldman, I think fitting that he hangs the flag for Dynasty. So
21 unanswered points.
Amazing, really. And Impact again. You know, you could so yesterday they played Uprising, they played Vicious again, but Vicious has played very. What can you say about this though, other than amazing job?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, you know, there's not a whole lot of things to discuss in terms of a bad game or here or there, but I mean, Mike, you know, put a plan together, and obviously it executed rather well. 7-0.
Kind of good.
Yeah,
sort of.
They did all right.
Yeah, all right. Yeah. All right.
I think a couple of them got shot.
Yeah, I mean, look at this replay right here. Schultz, just can't do anything in there. You know, defensive position because he lost all the guys around him. And, you know, got to be really frustrated. I mean, what do you say to that skunking? You know, I mean, it's just so demoralizing. And so great job for Dynasty, Alex Goldman, and all the crew over there. Just flawless. Really, literally flawless performance. 21 unanswered points. Really haven't been close to even having any problem whatsoever so far this year.
I mean, they haven't been tested yet, you know, and
which is scaring the hell out of them, honestly.
Exactly. Yeah. No. At some point, you just want to lose a game or a point, not a game or a match, but you know, a point to kind of be humbled again. You know.
Yeah. So again, amazing job by Dynasty. 21 unanswered points as they go 3-0 and take this game against against Impact. But next up, we have the LA Ironmen taking on Omaha Vicious. I'm Matty Marshall, Brian LB Fowl, and we'll be back with more Paintball World Cup action coming at you. Don't go anywhere.